Hi, this is Drew Loker, and today we're going to learn to design a presentation using a slideshow maker. First, return to your classroom assignment. Click on Classwork. Open up the instructions for the assignment. Return back to your classroom at the tab up at the top. And click on View Assignment. And you should see the normal options to either add or create. And for this assignment, we're going to use Google Slides, so we can use the Create button. You can upload a PowerPoint presentation to Google Slides, and it will convert it for you. But here's the Slides application within the Google suite of apps that we're going to use. It will automatically assign a title for you, which of course we want to change the name right off the bat so that it is more favorable to the user, not the teacher, and that is to take your name in the file name and move it to the end of the file name. So once that loads, we're going to select your name and then also get rid of the dash and the space up in front. And what I'd like you to also do is go ahead and define your story. Slideshow story of, and I'm going to do night photography as my sample for this presentation today. And go ahead and enter. So whatever your topic is at this point, you should have a topic. Go ahead and put that topic up there in the top. Alright, so right off the bat, we're going to see a few things. It starts with a blank slide, and your objective is going to be to develop a 3 to 5 minute presentation of your photos to tell a story. Now, most of y'all have done probably a PowerPoint of sorts. Perhaps you did a PowerPoint of a presentation that you're going to take one day. Most assignments of this nature, since you don't normally have images of your own, involve using somebody else's images off the internet, or perhaps a textbook company has provided you with images to create. Or perhaps you've done a presentation about a famous person for a history or English class or something along that nature. So a little different twist on this assignment. First of all, I've been making presentations for over 20 years and want to help you with some details. And most importantly, want to help you start by telling a story. And that's why we make presentations. And we've been doing it for a really, really long time as a culture, way before computers ever existed. People gather together in rooms to, look at slideshows of maybe somebody took a trip or somebody had a special collection of photos that they wanted to share. And way before that also, telling stories through pictures obviously is part of our culture and our history. So one of the things that I want to express and impress upon you is to first I'd like for you to use pictures that you've taken, either taken of you or by you, or pictures from your family, something personal to you. It'll be a whole lot more meaningful as you stand up in front of the classroom and present your 3 to 5 minute story about photos that are your friends or your family or your activities. As a default, as a backup, you can present to us pictures that you've collected off the internet, just as a last recourse. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few things in Google Slides. When you have not selected a slide details, like you haven't clicked a text box, when you click off of a text box, the menu bar at across the top does change. And you'll notice that we have background, layout, theme, and transition. Now, on the note of transition, for those of y'all that are familiar with slide making software, and this has changed even for me teaching this particular assignment. Over the years, we've done quite a few different software packages. Most recently, before returning to Google Slides, which is more like a PowerPoint program, we used Prezi, which is a fantastic software package. However, due to some changes that they made on their end, and just for simplicity purposes, we are returning back to Google Slides. It's available on every desktop. You can use it on a laptop. You can make a slideshow in your phone, and that is one of the reasons why this assignment is a backup and not necessarily enrichment. It's an assignment that's due, but I do want you to concentrate on making sure that you get your other assignments done before continuing to focus on the slideshow. All right, so what we want to do is, as far as the transitions, put that off to the very last little bit. You can work on a presentation for quite a long time, and it's, in my opinion, an open-ended project. So when you first start to work on it, you might quickly get a few slides done. But most presentations are those that could actually continue to be developed for a very long period of time. And the way I put it is, within a few minutes, you're ready to tell your story. Possible topics, in case you haven't chosen a topic at this particular point. Your life in review is a good one. Your best friend's story. The main thing, though, is whatever it is that you put together, I do want you to turn it into a story. Your goal will be to put text on every slide as well as pictures. And when you present your presentation, your goal will not to be to read what is on the page, but to tell us the story other than what we see on that slide. So we can see on the slide that we have a band, and we can read quickly that there is a band marching down the hill or marching. But what's the rest of the story? In this particular case, I was there on the hill when the band was marching, a very traditional activity before each LSU football game, and I was there amongst the band taking pictures, and that was a very special opportunity for me to be able to take those pictures. So what your goal is to put a few clues on your slide. We'll go back over here and go back to our presentation. And let's first start with the title. I'm going to call this one Night Photography. And I'm going to put by Drew Loker. And I do like the by to be on its own line so that it doesn't look like a surname or like a Mr. Drew Loker. And I even like to make it a lowercase, and that really draws off the attention to it to make it a little bit more, I don't know, professional looking. So if we want to choose a template, you click on the slide but not a text box, and you'll notice that we have themes that we can choose that will pop over on the left side, and this will apply to every slide within your presentation. And if you like these, for example, you could click on this and it'll apply to each one. And then when you click on layout, each of the layouts will be based on that theme over here. And you can also change the theme in the middle, but you really want to be careful with changing the font between the slides and changing the theme, because it is easy to, you don't want to change up on the audience every time you turn around, because it throws the audience off. Audiences like consistency. And so whatever you choose at the beginning, you want to stick with for the rest of the slides. So if you like a dark slide, let's go click on, say, this focus right here. Notice the words change around on me even. And you can change it around after it automatically changes for you. But when we go look at the layout, you'll notice that each of the layouts, for whether it's a title slide, section header, title and body only, caption, there's a lot of different pre-designed layouts for you. And a lot of people just like to start with blank slide or a simple title and body, and then customize each slide from there on out. So I'm going to go back to Simple Light, and that is the template. We're going to go ahead and close up that sidebar right there, and we're going to go ahead and click on the plus sign to create a new slide. Up in the upper left-hand slide corner, we can either click on the pop-up next to the plus, and it'll let us choose a layout, or we can just click the plus sign and it'll give us what it thinks that we need, which is a pretty good one with a title at the top and a text box, and then we can put our picture in. So I'm going to go to photos.google.com. So when you first get to photos.google.com here on the school computer, it'll probably be logged into your school account. In the upper right-hand corner, you can change which account you're logged into, and you'll notice that I've swapped over to drewloker@gmail.com, and yours by default will be your ID number at bmtisd.com, which probably won't have any photos. So if you're an Android user, you already have photos at photos.google.com, and if you're an iPhone user, you'll know that I have been advocating for photos.google or Google Photos on your phone, on your iPhone, as a great way to back up your photos. And looking over my recent photos, I probably should have done a story about Charlie, our lab right here. I'd love to make a slideshow about him. But I've already started the other slideshow, and it's a slideshow that I actually wanted to create, so that's why I'm making it as a sample. But you notice that I've got lots of other interesting pictures. Right now I'm working on a chrysalis time-lapse of a butterfly in the formation right here. So neat photo series going on right now. So I'm going to click on albums. I've already got a night album created, and I'm just going to show you how to get to your photos and how to get out of the gallery what we need. I'm going to go find my night gallery. It should be alphabetical, but it's not necessarily. So if I can't find it real quick here, I'll pause and go find it. Well, I'll just start with this one right here. Any photo that you find, there are a couple of ways to get that image off your gallery. And you click on the image in photos.google.com, which is the website we're on. You want to get to where it's the largest image possible. And I'm going to right click on that image. And if it lets me, I'm going to right click and copy. It should respond here. So there's our copy image. Then we're going to go back to our slideshow. And I'm going to put that image right here. And I've talked about this in class, one of my favorite night photos I've taken. And you've got a couple of different ideas. You can either go full screen with the image. You don't want to distort your image, but if you pull it out just a little bit, most people aren't going to know. It's not like a picture of a photo, but you really can't even do it by grabbing the corners, because it's going to make it constrained to angular increments. So I've distorted the image to fill the slide, and that's really not the right thing to do. But in this case, it actually looks a little squished. So I'm going to undo, and show you the opposite, or the alternative option. And that is going to be to put a title. And I'm going to move my title way up there to the top. And I'm just going to call it Star Trails Over, let's give that a capital, over Deer Park Lake. And then I'm going to put a title. So I'm going to shrink the size of this box right here. And you'll see that it had actually gone behind the photo. And I'm just going to position my picture and position my text box, and I'll work with this a little bit more. I'm going to go back and get another photo. I would like a photo even possibly on the title slide. Alright, so I went back to my photos.google.com album list and found the night gallery that I was looking for. And here's another one of my favorite nighttime photos. I'd always wanted to find a neat photo of downtown Houston, and finally stumbled across this shot during the daytime, and then returned that night and grabbed this photo here. So I'm going to right click on this image, copy, and return to the presentation, and I'm going to open with this on my title slide. So we're going to go ahead and paste it. And in this case right here, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. And I'm going to move the text box. I'm going to click on both the text box and the title and bring those forward. We're going to go to Arrange, Order, and Bring to Front. And I'm going to make that text white. Now, generally, I do not advocate putting text on top of photos. It does require a little extra work, and as a general rule, probably shouldn't do that. But I also like to have images take the full slide. And I'll show you what that means here in just a second. Now, once you make your image as large as the slide, it's hard to see exactly where your image is, or where the slide overlaps, or where the borders of the image are. So it's easy to get this text off the page or off the slide. And once again, I'll show you that in just a second here. So I'm clicking on the edge of the box. I'm actually using my nudge keys to nudge this over into position. I'm going to left justify that text box right there. And I'm just going to put it over here. And I don't know, I'll play around with this probably a little bit more after I get off of the recording here. But the goal is to come up with something a little bit that doesn't block the image in the background. I don't necessarily like that either. But let me click on the present, and that way we'll see how we look. Yeah, see, it fell off the page up at the top. So you hit escape to drop out of the presentation and go back to tweak this, and I'm going to bring down the night photography and my title line, or the byline, and move that into position right there. I'll probably play around with this a good bit more, and we will have a part 2 on this, so look for that, but continue creating some slides in the meantime. You can also look at your thumbnail view to see all of your slides at the same time, so that will toggle you back and forth.